155 or below, so lightweight or below weight classes. Fighters older than 35 are 0-14 in title fights.
Jesus
Volkanovski's 36, so he's either... Welcome back to In the Clinch, the MMA show where you come for all your MMA news. I'm not going to do that. We're
episode 21. It is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. I think I've been saying 2024.
It's not 2024.
Well, we're another year after zero. The dire wolf is back. Didn't even know that was a real thing.
It is back. It's in full force. We're going to talk about UFC 314. We'll probably go over UFC 313 as well. Pereira versus Ankalaev. Thanks. Oh my god. We need to go hospital.
Let's talk about that power slap card too. I don't remember any of the people's names that were on it, but that card was awesome.
I'll tell you what, I disrespected it a little bit. I'm a man who can sit here and take accountability. Okay? That shit was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. That was a sick ass event. I like how quick it is. I feel like they need to do stuff like that with these type of things where if there was like 15, 20 minutes between each fight, I would have been out.
Yeah.
I would have been like, dude, we don't need a 4-hour card.
We're going to get a guy out there. They're going to get knocked out more than likely within the first 2 rounds.
We're going to shovel them off the fucking floor.
We're going to get them out of there, and 5 minutes later, we're going to get 2 more people out there. And they're going to be doing the exact same thing. We'll bring some hot chicks in to fight each other. We'll bring in some power slapper, like real powerful guys. You don't matter.
Yeah, no, it was
Names
good.
You might recognize that used to be in the UFC or the fight game. We'll bring it all.
What were the records for that build, you know?
For the power slap?
Yeah.
Me and Danny went 4-1. You went 3-2.
I know how to pick them.
You've been awful at UFC.
We'll see.
All right, we will see.
Yeah,
what was the last card?
313.
13.
Pereira Ankalaev will start. We did the main card. Mauricio Rufi versus Bobby King Green. I mean, that one is as predicted. I said he would kick the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah.
That Rufi guy had one of the greatest knockouts we've ever seen with that spinning kick.
Damn, we've had a lot of cards.
Heel to the fucking temple, pretty much put you out every time.
That was one of the cleanest knockouts I've ever seen.
He's from that Fighting Nerds in Brazil, and I've seen something like, I think there's 4 guys maybe, Prates, whatever you call him. John Silva, I believe, who's fighting Bryce Mitchell on this upcoming card. This guy, Rufi himself, and then that Baralo guy, I don't know how to pronounce those names, Bahalo, whatever, guy at middleweight. They're all undefeated in the UFC. So they're doing pretty well. I want to make sure I got that right. But, yeah, that was great. Lemos versus Lucindo. The next one, unanimous decision to Lemos. Probably the most boring one on the main card, unfortunately. Baham Mendez versus Jalen Turner. That one I picked Turner on. Did not know that he was basically looking toward retirement and had some mental health stuff going on. That's just one of those things with when you bet things, you look at fighters and all that, you never know what's going on in the personal life, really, to like...
Right.
You know, how could we have known that? Hope he's all right. Great talent. But yeah, he just said, like, I got to worry about myself first, mentally and all this stuff. That's not a great sign. I mean, it's a good sign that he knows that he needs to worry about it, but I don't know what that means, you know?
Yeah.
He got whooped.
It's kind of that's the type of sport, too, where I feel like that mental is... obviously in, like, baseball and stuff, mental is a big thing, but I feel like in fighting, that's got to be, like...
Number 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Fighting, tennis, golf.
You know, I saw LeBron was on Pat McAfee, and they were
Fantastic interview.
But they were asking how he does it, and he always says, like, my mental's got to be there first, and then I work. He was like, I don't know what this bullshit is about. I put this many millions into my
That's a fucking lie.
Yeah, but he was like,
is it true you put $10 million into your body every? He said, no, I don't know who the fuck started that, but it's not true.
But he was like, if I'm mentally there, then I'm gonna keep going, and then the body will follow. You know.
Let me talk about that for 1 second. A lot of people after were saying that Brian Windhorst didn't deserve what he got. Like it was a stray. Did you? I was like, fuck that guy, man.
Shit, bro. That's gotta suck to be an athlete. Here's the thing. I agreed with LeBron where he's like, criticize me all you want and say I didn't play well enough. I'll let my
he even said he was like that finals against Dallas. Did you watch it?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Dude, you're missing out.
He was like,
I did not show up that finals. I played. He's like, I cost my team a championship. By the way, I played. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, good for him.
Like, he said word for word that. And I was like, you know.
But he was talking about, like, Joel Embiid. He was like, I saw a reporter was talking shit basically about his brother. And then people are talking about, like, my fan. He's like, that's not your job as a reporter or an analyst. And I agree with him. That is not your job.
I was telling Chris that, actually. I was like, sports has become, even like music stuff I watch, like Joe Budden's podcast, I'm like, this has become drama. Like
No, it's
Drake's
all drama.
personal life, Kendrick's personal life, sports, it's LeBron's personal life, it's this player's personal life. I'm like, I just want to watch
Them
the
play
sport
sports.
and you analyze it and what they did good
That's
and
what
what
he
they
said.
did bad.
We're going to get back to MMA, but because this is an MMA show, but I think basketball is the worst with that. I actually think the real contact sports like NHL, especially NHL and MMA, are like the least.
NHL is the best sport in terms of media.
Everything.
Did you see?
Fans.
I mean, we're changing up. We're going another way. You see Ovechkin beat Gretzky's record, and
The
Gretzky,
same amount of games.
Yeah, and Gretzky was like, I said if this was ever coming close, I was going to be there and I was going to cheer on the person, and he's like, we're passing this on, this younger generation. These guys are awesome, and I was like, dude, that is fantastic.
That's how the old guard, the next old guard, and the new guard should be treating each other. Have you seen that picture of him and Gretzky when he's a kid?
Yeah.
It shows like Gretzky 894 goals, Ovechkin 0, and then they showed the picture and said 895 to 894. It's like that is awesome.
I like that with like the NBA. It's cool with the Celtics how like Paul Pierce was filming Jason Tatum warm up. Like it's like I like when they're cool like that.
They gave Pierce a ring.
Yeah, they gave Paul Pierce a ring too. It's super cool when it's like that. I hate the whole thing of the one thing I will say with LeBron is he did tweet when his son was in high school that Bronny is better than a lot of these guys in the NBA.
kind of brought yourself
so
in.
you brought yourself into that, but at the same time, the shit like LeBron said, these guys in the media now say stuff because like in the 80s and 90s, the players would have fought the media, like fist fought
What
physically.
did he say? Mad Max, Vernon Maxwell?
Yeah.
He was like, they didn't talk about him or his personal life or his personal family because they would have had to deal with him.
And he was like, we're not allowed to do that. Now, I'm not saying he would or he wouldn't, but he
He
just came up
understands
with
his image and he can't just go fight.
The thing is, too,
Brian Windhorst.
there's difference between LeBron makes, like Jaylen Brown just signed a $300 million contract. How much was Magic making?
Or something, yeah. Even Magic, right? The
You know,
superstars.
Kobe got crap for taking a 2-year, $60 million contract at the end of his career. It's like, well, he's not touching what a max is now.
No, it's ridiculous.
And the thing is, when as you said that with the tweet, social media is that's just another example of how big of a problem with that is in the sports world. You know too much about these people, man.
Well, that's
Yeah.
with the MMA. Like Jalen Turner, for instance, he kept it quiet. But you see a lot of fighters, they put their personal life out there.
Bryce Mitchell.
And then people...
I mean, he's on this card. And he's
I'm an inbred retard.
They can say I'm an inbred retard. We could fucking scientifically check. I'm not inbred or I'm not fucking retarded. Okay.
That guy is awesome.
I just found it funny he wanted to use science for that, but when the earth is round or flat, he's
When
just
I
throwing it out
say
there.
he's awesome, I don't mean his beliefs or his thoughts, but the fact that he is bold enough, he's so stupid.
I was going to say, we all know one guy, at least in our lives, or one person that is so retarded that they're the funniest person that you
I mean, he will go on a microphone, and in his head, he's thinking that, like, we're stupid. That's what's funny. That's why I say he's awesome. Because he goes out there and he says shit that 99% of people are like, this guy's fucking crazy. And he's like, I will sit down and go talk with you. It's like, dude, you think everything we're living in is not real. So, like, I can't even have a conversation with you. But anyway, Gaethje and Fiziev. How do you say his name? Fiziev?
I go Fiziev.
I don't know. But anyway,
Fiziev.
it
I didn't know he was from Azerbaijan.
it was very strange that Justin Gaethje was the underdog in that fight, and I'm very upset that I did not bet.
You go back, you watch the last in the clinch. Sorry, go watch the press conference as well. But you go back, you watch the last in the clinch. I said to Eric, I said, look, we did it with who was it? We did it with Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis and Jean Weili in her last title defense, and it was Michael Venom Page versus One Eye Shire Bullet.
Yep.
Okay, all of those fights, we said those Weili, Poirier, and MVP should not be underdogs. Let's not overthink this. Let's put the big money on him. I said Gaethje's in that boat too with this Fiziev fight. He's already beat this guy. He's had a lot of time off. Fiziev hasn't fought since he suffered that injury, and he's on 12 days notice. How do you lose to a guy and be the favorite when now you're on 12 days notice to that guy you've already lost to? We should have put more money than we did. I did bet on it. Unfortunately, I did parlay it with the main event.
Alex.
And I feel I should have won that.
In terms of the decision was the wrong decision?
It's a tough one.
Right.
I would have went with Alex.
You know what's the problem is this card was so far back, I feel like.
But then, I was talking to Michael.
So I'm trying to remember the fight because I do think Alex won, but I knew that they were going to give it to Ankalaev.
Yeah. It's hard because it's like my mind goes to this. If you attempt 13 takedowns and land 0, or whatever he landed. He
0.
should have the tats.
0 of 12.
0 of 12 takedowns. Because, if he gets a takedown and holds him down there, you're going to give Ankalaev a lot of credit, right?
Right.
Even if he doesn't cause any damage.
Even if he doesn't cause any damage, you're going to give him credit that he took him down. I'm going to give him equal credit that you couldn't take him down.
It's got to be equal.
Yeah. So you couldn't do it. Now, the hard part is what Michael was saying. He was like, yeah, I watched the fight. He was like, it's hard. I kind of went 50-50 on it. But one guy was putting on the pressure the whole time. And one guy, he was like, yeah, he just held him against the cage. But are you going to give the fight to the guy holding him against the cage or just getting held against the cage? He's like, it's a horrible fight. And it's a horrible.
That's the whole problem. Is it was like Izzy and Yoel Romero. It's a bad fight.
They're saying Alex might have had a broken hand.
He did. He said he did.
Because I was watching
that should be made public. That's such bullshit.
He looked so timid, and I was like, is he scared of this guy, or is he scared of the takedown, or what was it? Yeah. I still felt if I was out there, a judge or whatever, no bias, no my bet, no nothing, I would have given it a 3-2 Alex.
Because he outstruck him in those 3 rounds.
But it's a tough one to score when it's just 5 minutes of control time, and that control time's up against the cage, and this guy's defending takedowns left and right.
I'm very against the guy gets credit for just holding a guy up against the fence.
But
there's got to be something. Yeah, right. There's got to be something with stopping, with separating them.
But that's the thing is, you can say you held him against the cage, but the ref stops inactivity. So holding a guy against the cage should not count then, unless you are. If he had him against the cage and was hitting him and causing damage, then it's different.
I agree.
But they were just kind of switching positions. Even Alex turned it around on him a few times. I'm surprised at the end of the second or third round, Alex didn't get called for that takedown. I don't know if he got called, if he got that trip and they counted it.
He was 0 for 1.
Yeah, that trip should have counted because he initiated it before the bell.
I kind of knew this fight would look that way, look a bit boring, because Ankalaev, Alex had the broken hand now that we know, but if he goes in there with a striking match, I think he goes to sleep. What I kind of do, if you gotta go back watch a few episodes. Me and Eric talked about. We made a prediction: fighters that have never been champions before that will become champions eventually in the UFC. Remember this?
Yeah, I don't remember who I picked.
Because I said Leon and Islam would become champs at one point.
Yeah,
and they did. I picked Ilia Topuria. That's come true. I picked Magomed Ankalaev. I picked a couple other guys. I would have to go back and remember. I think I picked Umar Magomedov, which missed so far. Still could, but I didn't stick with my guns on my pick and go with the guy that I chose to do that in the future with Ankalaev. I guess I regret that. I don't know. I kind of think the Alex pick still, I'm not upset with it.
No, I would never be upset with picking him, like a guy like him, or like Izzy, because they're goated, so it's kind of hard to, you have, anyone ask you the reason, it's like, well, have you watched his last 10 fucking fights?
Right.
That's kind of the reason why I picked him.
Right.
Anything else on that card? Should we do the records for that card now? How do we do this? I'm giving a piss poor effort today, and I know it because I am not feeling great.
If we're going to the next card, we'll give records and overall for 2025?
Yeah.
Any other thing on any other cards before we get there? Vittori, Dolidze, Edwards, Brady, Moreno, Urseg.
Vittori sucks.
Emmett, Murphy.
Sorry.
Brady, I guess, look out for him.
Yeah. Leon Edwards just doesn't. He doesn't have that. He, to me, is like a different version of Stephen Thompson, where it's like, you're not nice, but you have to, in a fight, you can't just be like, oh, he's going to take me down. Yeah, we're going to fight. It's like, you got to have some sort of energy.
Give up. Like, I don't want to get taken down again.
The takedown felt like a give up. Why would he try to take Brady down when Brady was on him for the whole round?
So I don't.
The fight that got rescheduled, Prates was going to fight Jeff Neal.
Yeah.
Now he's fighting Ian Machado Gary on a fight night. I'm very excited about that fight right there.
I'm excited for Prates.
I feel like Prates is maybe biting off a bit more than he can chew early on in the UFC. Not that he's, I'm sure if you looked at the records, I don't know him off the top of my head. I'm sure he probably has more fights than Gary. But competition at the UFC is a bit different. You're coming off beating, who did he just beat? Neil Magny, Charles Radke, or something like that. That's a lot different from an MVP and Shavkat Rakhmonov being the last two guys he and Gary fought. Don't you feel?
Yeah, 100%.
So, I'm interested in that fight, which will be in a couple weeks. We won't cover that. So, and then what will we cover after that? Muhammad versus JDM. That'll be good too.
This guy Chase Hooper minus 1150, and I guess Chase Hooper's fighting Jim Miller. That guy needs to retire.
That's the oldest and probably youngest fighters in that division.
Oh, Trayshawn Gore. Bill?
He's on
Trayshawn Gore?
Yeah.
There we go.
Which Ultimate Fighter was he from?
The one with Ricky.
Ricky Tercios?
Yeah.
Who was the other guy? Brian Battle.
Brian Battle won it, and then that one dude's I think still on there, that wrestler guy that was at 170 also.
Dude, this Haley Cowan is fucking kind of bad.
Okay, let's get into this one. We're gonna do the main card. I'm not seeing. Oh yeah.
So we want records.
Have you seen
Go
her?
record.
So 313. Danny and I went 2-3.
Yeah, I knew it was bad, man.
Eric and Drudy went 3-2. Overall for the year, Drudy is in last at 7-8.
Horrific.
Danny and I are in second with 8-7, and Eric's first at 9-6.
Bitch.
Congratulations.
Fuck you.
Congratulations.
Danny Ige, I always love watching that guy fight. Sean Woodson, I do love watching him fight too as well. Slow kind of keeps you fight at his pace.
I might pick the same picks for the entire year as Danny, so I can just
you know what's funny is like as soon as I said that, as soon as he said the records, I was like, I bet you he picks the same exact picks. For that reason,
you know me, I'm
a pick before me.
I'm a scumbag. No, we'll go snake, like we always do.
Yeah, we'll go snake. We'll start with you.
Hey, dumbass. We'll go him.
No, I
him,
like
him,
you.
him.
I don't like you.
And you get to go in the middle every time.
Okay, so we got Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes to open it up instead of the Prey to Jeff Neal fight, which I think this is a good fight.
All right, pick first.
Go ahead, Bill. This is kind of a, light heavyweight's an open division as far as who's going to fight for the title next, because we've seen everybody fight Alex. He's it's like when John Jones was there. It was like, John Jones is fighting everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Who wants to get their name in this hat? Roundtree's were supposed to be fighting Jamal Hill. I think that's a bad day for Jamal Hill. But
I'm going to take Krylov. I don't like Dominic Reyes.
I'm going to go with Krylov as well. I like what Dominic Reyes has looked like in his last couple fights. I just think once he gets, I think he's at a point in his career where he's living off that John Jones fight that people say he might have won in this.
I thought he might have. That scared the fuck out of me.
But when he gets to these top dogs, I'm not as confident in him as I used to be. I'm going to go with Krylov as well.
If you go to McDonald's and use the app in the morning, or just at all, you get a sausage McMuffin and a second one for $1.
Yeah, you're super fat.
That's a pretty good deal, I think.
Good deal.
Bill, who you got?
I really don't like Reyes just because of the whole Jones, like he keeps bringing that up about his loss. However, Krylov hasn't fought since March of 2023, and Reyes just fought in December of 2024. And mind you, he did only beat.
Who did he fight in his last fight?
It'll tell you.
Which one?
Krylov.
Press profile.
Beat Span by submission in the first round.
Go back to ESPN. Click on.
Where am I?
Where are you?
Hang.
Click profile, and it will show you his.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Span.
Ozdemir and Gustafsson.
Well, if you lost to Paul Craig, there's no way I can pick this fucking guy.
Ankalaev,
So I'm actually going to go with Reyes.
Oh, nice. Ryan has made his picks as well. Our beautiful cousin Ryan has moved to Las Vegas and is inhabiting our city. And we're very happy about that. And he has also picked Dominic Reyes for his fight. I don't know why he's made all his picks in all caps, but...
And Spanish.
What?
Just kidding.
Oh.
But the most thing I recall, if I'm not mistaken, is Dominic Reyes got the fucking piss knocked out of him by Ryan Spann and looked terrible. Now, I know styles make fights just because A beats B and B beats C doesn't mean A beats C, but Krylov finished Ryan Spann pretty easily. I'm still going to stick with Krylov.
Second fight here. Is this guy Jewish?
John Silva?
Yep.
He's Brazilian, I imagine not.
Isn't Judaism a religion?
Right.
Also an ethnicity.
No, I know, but I think he's Jewish.
He could be Jewish.
Because that's was this whole thing about why he was not chosen to fight him. We needed a Jew to fight this guy.
He was chosen 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, right. He was chosen. He didn't choose this. But yeah, I watched a little bit of their press conference, and Bryce Mitchell said, "You're barking up the wrong tree, motherfucker." Did you see that?
He's barking. He said, "You're barking up the wrong tree, motherfucker."
Oh my god!
I will say this: I liked Melsick. I bet on Melsick as a big underdog against Silva.
I want Bryce Mitchell to win just for an interview after.
Yeah.
Melsick's
because he think it would prove him right if he wins. He's like, everything I said is right. It's like, it's not how this works.
Melsick's a nifty striker. I was excited when they were striking because I felt like that's where he could win. And this guy's obviously probably a black belt if he's from Brazil and he's in the fighting nerds and whatnot. and he kicked the shit out of
He's
Nelson.
more of a striker too.
I think
he outstruck.
What is Bryce Mitchell?
His last
lately?
4 fights
He's a
have been
wrestler.
ended in KOs or TKOs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take him to win. Silva, so did Ryan. Billy, who you got?
I got Silva.
I also have Silva.
All right. Well, we're all
Good.
I
on.
do think Bryce Mitchell's for as stupid as he is a better fighter than people make him out to be.
No, 100%.
But I think he's one-dimensional with his wrestling.
I don't think he's very good, and I also think a knockout like that.
That's one of those knockouts from Josh Emmett where it's like, well, he's taking some time off. He needs to take a fucking
Lifetime
year.
off.
Yeah.
This guy should not have any more brain damage.
No, exactly.
I mean, he's won. He beat Kron Gracie. Oh my god, that was the worst fucking matchup I've ever seen since then. But whatever. Going into this one, this fight is going to be fight of the night, if not the co-main. But I think this one has the most fight of the night. Well, fight of the night should be the main event, actually, which I always love when that's the stake. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull.
What's his last name?
Who?
Patricio.
Pitbull.
No, it's not. That's what I'm asking.
Like Pereira.
Why does he get to have that as his last name? Like, what if Bryce Mitchell theoretically wanted his name on there to be Adolf Hitler? Like, there's no way they'd let him do that.
That's for.
I'm not saying this is. I'm not cool with it being Pitbull, but why is that allowed? Like, why is that how that works?
I'm not sure.
Like, Paddy should be Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. That, like, you know what I mean? Like, why? I'm just.
I want
asking.
my
It's
nickname.
Pereira. Sorry.
Freire.
Pereira.
I'm just asking why that he's allowed to do it. What if you
He's
saw?
been great in
What if you
Bellator.
saw Adolf Hitler versus Gene Silva? We'll let you go first. Ryan has chosen Yair Rodriguez for this.
I
fight.
do like Yair in this as far as his striking goes and whatnot, but Pitbull can grapple. He's an all-around fighter. He's been around the sport for his 43 fights.
Jesus Christ.
He's 36-7 as well.
No, I know
Not
that.
bad.
Yeah,
He's
he's
got
not- he's-
43 fights, single-digit losses isn't too bad.
He's not a slouch.
But he is old. He's 37. That's a bit aged for a featherweight. This isn't a title fight or anything, but you know,
Well,
don't get mad at me. But he's younger, taller, longer, Yair. But
Yair is 32. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that's. I
it's
mean,
not
that's a
fantastic,
big difference,
but,
but,
yeah.
it's not like.
I'll give you a stat in the championship fight that tells you how big of a difference that 32 to 37 is.
Can't wait to hear it.
But Yair Rodriguez versus Pitbull, I'm gonna go with Pitbull. Patricio on this. I think, you know, especially I think a lot of these guys. Remember Michael Chandler when he fought Dan Hooker in his debut?
Yep.
When a lot of those guys that used to be champs in Bellator, maybe they're
Right.
middle age and all this thing, they come in and they go against. This feels like the exact same fight to me.
Yeah.
Where Pitbull's had some great fights. I think he's had some great fights with Michael Chandler. I could be wrong.
Did he
about
fight Michael Chandler? How did that go?
that. I think they're split or
I think
something.
they're split.
Really?
Uh,
Do you think Michael Chandler would beat Yair Rodriguez?
they're different weights. It's kind of hard to compare. I don't think he could. If Yair Rodriguez went to 155, fuck yeah.
Yeah, because Pitbull was 2-division champ in Bellator.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Pitbull also.
Michael Chandler, his most recent fight, he knocked him out.
He
Michael
knocked
Chandler.
Pitbull out.
Yeah, no, the other way around.
Okay.
For the championship.
Nice.
TKO.
I'm gonna take Pitbull.
I want to say they fought multiple times.
Ryan's taking Yair. Danny's taking Pitbull. I'm taking Pitbull. Billy, who do you
I'm
got?
correct about that.
I'm going to go Pitbull as well. I think Yair gets hit a lot. And I think, like Danny said, Pitbull just has that experience. And it's like,
Pitbull's a great fighter.
he is.
Bless you. Jesus.
Bless you.
Like, Pitbull's one of those guys that they add from another division, and he fights a Yair Rodriguez. Chandler fights a Dan Hooker. These are top 5 guys in their divisions.
Okay,
Yair
so
used to
thank
be
you.
the thank you. I think I did. I used to be the interim champ. Did I not?
What?
Say thank you. He did?
Forget
Okay.
it. Yair used to be the interim champ. To come in and be like, hey, I immediately want to fight the interim champ is crazy.
No, of course. Yeah,
You're somebody. You know what I mean? I like this. I like Pitbull. If you're looking at who's the underdog, maybe you're thinking leaning toward Dominic Reyes or Bryce Mitchell, the guy to bet. I think the underdog to bet on this card for you would be Patricio Pitbull.
I think Pitbull or Chandler or Lopez, but those are kind of close odds. But I think these are
Pitbull
like
for plus
coin flip
160,
fights.
I love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coin flip flips. For
Yeah,
sure.
I think plus 160 is good value.
That makes a great card.
I
3
kinda-
coin flip fights to finish it off.
I kind of
And
find
think
it
the opens
wild,
with a coin
like the
flip.
PFL Bellator merger. I thought, oh, this will make them a huge thing because they have all these great fighters, and then just cutting all the Bellator fighters because they can't afford them. And I'm like, well,
This didn't work
UFC,
out.
yeah.
yeah, give them to the UFC. It's fine with me.
So we've made our picks on that. We go to the co-main event, which I am very excited about. Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett.
Ryan picked Michael Chandler, but he did put a sad face next to it because
He loves
Paddy is one of his 2 favorite fighters.
You know what, though? And I saw the embedded, and I hate to watch interviews and kind of let them feed into my mind, right? But no, it has nothing to really do with that. It has a lot to do with what I've seen versus what he said kind of matching up. He said that he used to rely on his talent more. Now he trains harder than he ever because, the old saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And he was like...
That was always your problem.
That was my fucking problem.
I was kidding, but...
No. But he was like, when you get to these level, he was like, I think that's why, if people look, they've seen so much improvement fight to fight recently from me. Because I'm working harder than I ever have.
Yeah.
And I have seen that. I really felt like when he fought Bobby Green, I was like, this is a tough matchup for him. This isn't like, some guy you never heard of. And he kicked the shit out of him. I was like, wow, he looked really good tonight. And I think he'll look the best we've ever seen him against Chandler. And Chandler is he's electric. He's strong. He can wrestle. He's I'll say it about Patricio Pitbull. Him and Patricio Pitbull, they've been around the game. You do not want to fight these guys 23-9, 32 fights. I'm gonna go with Paddy the Baddy though. I like this matchup for him. What's Chandler gonna do? Take him down? No, he wants to stand and bang and put his fucking lights out. You can't knock a scouser out. Everyone knows that.
Right, unless it's Darren Till.
But I don't think Paddy's strategy here is to. I think he's gonna we said how I said Patricio Pitbull versus Yair is gonna be fight of the night, and I said this could be. This has the potential to be like judo throws for Paddy, and kind of hold him there.
Yeah.
Hold him in his guard and whatnot, but. You can't have a bad Michael Chandler fight, can you?
No, he doesn't provide bad fights. I'm going to take Paddy also.
Yep.
Not because you picked him, because I'm actually not trying to do that. We just happen to have the same picks. But I think Paddy is better than, I'm trying to think of how I'm trying to say this. Like, I know he's hyped up. Like, he's one of those guys where it's like he's hyped up and you think this and you think that. But I think especially his last few fights, he's definitely better than what people, I don't want to say give him credit for, but then you might think, I guess. Billy, who you got?
I mean, Paddy's been looking good at it recently, and he's doing it right. He's slowly moving up the rankings.
I think he's very strategically picking who he wants to fight for. Like, okay, I'm going to get into the UFC. What's a big name? That's a guy that's in the 10 through 15. Probably the biggest name there at the time was Bobby Green, but also the easiest fight. If I don't want to disrespect these guys for saying the easiest fight for him. And for him with Chandler, he's like, that's probably who am I going to fight? Poirier's better. Gaethje's better. Charles Oliveira is way too much for him right now. Armand, forget about it. You know what I mean?
Who, Michael Chandler?
For Paddy.
Yeah, he'd beat Armand. I hate that guy.
You just hate Armand.
That's ridiculous.
I hate that guy.
But all this, so like
it's hard to get destroyed when the guy pulls out 24 hours before the
yeah.
Fucking pussy.
To get his name dipped in the top 5 hat, I think this is his best bet, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's still scary, but I'm gonna go with Paddy.
Yeah, he is scary.
The thing is about their striking, both of them get hit a lot. And I think Chandler has more of that pop.
Chandler
against people.
A lot of pop.
So I'm going to go with Chandler just strictly because Paddy, he usually sort of gets hit and is knocked out until he's not. And I just don't know if Chandler hits him if he's going to stay up.
That's a coin toss flight.
Yeah, it's complete. The last 2 fights are coin toss fights for sure.
I think this is more of a coin toss. I really like Pitbull.
We have 2 of the best walkouts too. Paddy Pimblett's song is probably his walkout's probably top 5,
and so is Volk.
Yeah.
So,
Bryce Mitchell holds a Bible above his head and walks out to like some sort of church music, so that'll be pretty cool too, I guess.
Yeah.
And he'll be vindicated, like we said, if he wins. Told you the Earth was flat and the devil made up gravity.
Yeah, I only want to see him win for the interview. Main event: Alexander Volkanovski, Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes, I did not realize has not been in the UFC that long. His
debut in the UFC was against Movsar Evloev, who is also a top 5 fighter at 145, and he got it. I want to say it was 9 days' notice. I remember this fight. You'll probably remember it too. He fought him very well. He got him in a mean armbar that Evloev got out of very impressively, and it was a very close fight. Could have gone either way. I think it went 2-1 Evloev. And it was like, for a guy that's never fought in the UFC and is on 9-day notice, holy shit, he looked good.
Yeah.
And he's dominated everybody he's fought since then. I wonder if he's bit off more than he can chew a little fast here. I don't know about that. He fought Brian Ortega and kicked the fucking living shit out of him.
He beat the fuck out of Brian
That
Ortega.
looks good. That's good. That's a good look.
I actually think he looked better against Brian Ortega than Volk did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Volk
had some scary moments.
Twice.
There was no scary moments for
No, the scary moment was if you were a Brian Ortega fan watching him get his face punched in.
We talked about age between Pitbull and Yair earlier. This is a stat right here. In 155 or below, so lightweight or below weight classes, fighters older than 35 are 0-14 in title fights.
Jesus
Volkanovski's 36, so he's either going to win and make that be the first win in 15 fights, or he's going to be a part of the statistic at 0-15.
And also, he is younger, taller, and longer.
He's younger, he's taller, he's longer. We don't remember the exact stat, but it's something around the lines, like around the lines of the younger, taller, longer fighter in title fights wins like 77% of the time. So you have a couple stats that really tell you Volk looks fucked here.
Yeah.
He's not coming off great performances, is he? In his last couple fights?
No, the only
and KO brutally his last 2.
The only thing, though, is
has
he's
Diego
fighting.
Lopes looked good in his last few? He's looked fantastic.
He's won 5 in a row. And like you said, his only loss in the UFC was short notice. He beat EA on an hour notice.
My only problem is I think that kind of like with Poirier, with fighting St. Denis and shit, like those type of guys, is Volk's been fighting the best in the world. And like you said, Lopez is now fighting one of the guys who's been the best in the world, but I wonder if it just, like if this was 3 years ago, I think Volk would beat him.
Right.
But now that him being this age, but on the flip side, what I was getting to was, you're like, oh yeah, Volk got his ass kicked his last 2 fights. It's like, well, he fought Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. He wasn't losing to fucking me.
Yeah, well, we said that about Tony, and now he's lost 11 in a row.
Aside from a big, freak knockout on Islam, he basically lost to 2 undefeated guys.
Yeah.
Two of the most talented guys in the division, pound for pound, 1, I believe 3 right now.
And it's not even though that he lost, it's how he lost, I think, is what people are worried about. Like,
I'm glad he took as much time off as he did between the Topuria fight and this one, because Islam to Topuria was way too quick.
Yeah. I do like the fact that he's like, well, I'll fight again. I'll fight. Oh, we're going to go to another weight class. That's obviously very respectable, but that's a scary thing to do when you're like that age and you just lost to Islam and you come right back down and you fight this. I mean, Ilia Topuria could knock a fucking horse out.
He could knock whatever the fuck he wants.
So, it's 2 scary fights. Ryan picked Diego Lopes, also put a sad face next to that one because Volk is one of his favorite fighters. I am also going to take Diego Lopes. I don't necessarily want to say I don't want him to win because I don't like watching like Volk and Izzy and Alex and John Jones lose. But I mean, I've got to pick I didn't like watching Josh Allen lose, but I picked the Chiefs because I know what's going to happen. I'm not saying I know what's going to happen, but I do think Diego Lopes wins, and I am picking Lopes.
I mean, here's the thing. I would be sad if Diego Lopes lost in any fight besides this one too, though. So it's kind of like hard to pick this one for me as far as the heart goes. But
Lopes.
Eric goes Lopes.
So does Ryan.
Ryan goes Lopes. I think we've seen a trend recently where Leon Brady. I'm gonna forget. Ilya's the best example. Ilya Volk, Ilya Max. You're seeing these older fighters, guys that have been around the UFC for a long time and weathered fighters and whatnot, lose to these guys that are newer names that have 5 to 6, 7 fights in the UFC. We talked about the talent that Lopez has faced versus Volk. Who did Ilya really face before Volk? Josh Emmett was his best matchup.
Yeah, I'll fucking see that Georgian pussy.
Didn't really seem to be a problem for him when he fought Volk or Max versus their resumes. I think it's going to be the same here. I'm going to third that with Diego Lopes.
Bill?
I'm going to go with Diego as well.
Damn.
Plain sweep.
So me and you have all the same picks, I think.
No, I think you took Dominic Reyes and I took Krylov.
Oh, I would never take Dominic Reyes in a fight.
I took Reyes.
He took Reyes. So did Ryan.
You took Silva,
Pitbull, Paddy.
You took Paddy, and you took
Lopes.
We're taking the whole right side here.
We're taking all the dogs.
But yeah, I agree. I think that seems that at featherweight there was a changing of the guard. Max is moving up. I think Volk's done, and then I think it's going to be open for all these guys. And Ilya moved up too, which is crazy.
I would say, sorry to interrupt you, but I would actually say Max necessarily doesn't have to move up. I thought Max looked really good against Ilya until he got knocked out. And I thought it was a bit quick, him going from moving up to 155, getting his body ready to that, to cutting down to 145. I think if he took the time to prepare for 145 again, that he could actually still make that happen.
Oh, I think so. But what does he have left
to
prove at that division?
What does he have left to prove? What's he going to do there? And he looks fantastic at 155.
I'd rather see Max versus the 155ers than him and Diego Lopes doesn't excite me.
I can't wait till they announce whoever the fuck Max is going to fight next. It will be someone in the top 5 at 155, and I can't wait to hear who it is. Ideally, I would love Charles Oliveira or a Poirier for Poirier's send-off, or I wouldn't mind a Gaethje rematch.
They said
or Dan Hooker.
On the most recent Fight Night card, the Spanish broadcast might have messed up, and they announced Charles Oliveira
versus Ilya. I saw someone in the UFC saying that was bullshit, it's fake. Like, not that them announcing it was just they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
But that's also like damage control. It sounds like so where it's like fuck they announced it, just say that's bullshit.
Say it's bullshit, then we'll announce it at a later date.
I almost think if what I hear from Ilya, you could hate how he talks or whatever. He doesn't bullshit. He doesn't fuck around. He backs up what he says. He feels he deserves a title shot there. I kind of don't. I think he would be the type to hold out for one.
I don't think so, actually. I think that he wants a big fight, though. Like
that's true. Payday.
Like I think that he's saying
I bet he would want pay-per-view points on that and have
something like, or he wants a top 5 guy. He wants a name guy. He's not going to fight Michael Chandler or Paddy Pimblett.
I'll tell you what, he probably looked at the matchup and said, I think I beat Charles Oliveira because I think he beat.
He beats Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, I don't think he would hold out for a championship fight, but I think he would.
If he was guaranteed it, I could see him doing that. They
Yeah.
said he goes. They told me if I relinquish this, I can get a title fight. Then all power to you.
That's different. I'm just saying I don't think he would be like, I'm going to go up here and I'm only fighting Islam, and if not, I'll never fight again.
I'm sick of Islam fighting guys that aren't 155ers.
He said 145
he deserves to do that.
Not for him right now, as far as the weight cut and everything goes. So I think he has no choice but to move up. And they're saying, well, you're not getting a title fight. He's like, well, I'm going to fight here, so I might as well fight the number 2 guy right now.
Who do you think? I mean, the 155ers. No, they're not going to beat Islam anyway. Who's going to beat him?
Best bet is Arman Nelia. Sorry to say that to you. I know you don't.
That guy will not beat Islam.
But I'm saying his 155 reign has been.
But yeah, there's not like he's not
Volk,
fighting guys.
145er. Dustin's a former 145er, but you can say he's established himself at 155er.
For the belt at 155 used to be a 145er.
Yeah, but that could be said the same for a lot of people.
And then, unfortunately, it's not anything to him. Moicano was short term because Arman couldn't get his shit together, so it's like
he was gonna fight Arman, but it's like it's no fault of his that the guy pulled out.
No, it's absolutely no fault of his.
Islam can't do anything but fight the guys that are throwing it.
That's what I mean.
Who are ranked as high as they are.
It's
Sorry
not,
that all the guys that ranked top 5 in the 155 division used to fight at 145.
Yeah, that's how that works.
That's what my thing though is like. I'm like just give Arman the shot. Let's just do it. He's number 1 contender. He fucked up. Just give him the shot. Let's see what happens.
You can have Arman fight Dan Hooker and kill him. And
the problem with that though is what happens if this guy fucking pulls out again? Like that's where I feel like, not that it's got to be like how serious. I feel like there was something with that because Dana usually doesn't get that like, not personal with it, but he is not like he was like this guy, fuck him. So I feel like something might have happened, or they might have been like, well, he knew about this and didn't even let us know, so we didn't have a backup ready, which I always feel like they should have a backup ready, but that's neither.
My theory is that he was nowhere near making weight and just said, fuck this.
And that's what I'm saying, is like, if that's the case and I was Dana, I would be the same way. I'd be like, dude, fuck you, man. Like,
you say that, but then he jumped through hoops for Hamzat.
What do you mean?
When he was going to miss weight.
But that's the name. That's the difference.
Well, yeah, it's a different thing. But it's like...
How much money is Arman bringing to the UFC versus Hamzat?
That was actually an insane time because that card actually, not ended up being better, but that, like, in terms of the fights, but that was, like, absolutely insane how that card, like, came out.
And it's like we touched on before. It's like you would never see that in boxing.
No, and also you needed those guys, like... Kevin Holland, if that was John Jones, obviously he would never have, not in a bad way. I disagree.
I don't
right, I don't blame anyone who wouldn't. But Kevin Holland, they could have told him, hey, you're actually going to fight 3 guys tonight at 3 different weight classes. And he'd be like, I don't give a fuck. As long as I'm well enough to fight the second and third, I'll do it. Yeah. Hamzat doesn't care who he fights. Tony Ferguson and Nate Diaz are probably like, well, I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to fight,
if I was
those. Like
Nate, I would have been like, cool, I don't have to fight. Not that he's scared, but if you took at Styles, it's like, oh, I don't have to fight Hamzat. Perfect.
He was going to fight Hamzat?
Yeah.
That was the original fight?
Yeah.
I don't remember the whole... And Holland was going to fight Ferguson?
No, Holland was fighting...
Rodriguez,
yeah.
And Leach was going to fight Ferguson.
What did they do with Leach?
Leach and Rodriguez fought.
Dude, that was insane.
Holland, Hamzat, and Tony, Nate.
They all should have... I hope they did. Besides... Hamzat should have been not fucked, but they all should have gotten good pay for that. Besides him, obviously, because he wrecked the card.
Right.
But, yeah, I do... kind of agree with that. He did jump through hoops there. That was not a pay-per-view, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it? I don't remember that card. The main event was going to be who? Hamzat and Nate Diaz?
Yeah.
That's pretty
wow. Sick. Yeah, that would have been sick, to be honest with you. But
he
Hamzat would have fucked him up. That guy, I think, might be one of the best fighters in the... I was going to say the league, but the...
Oh, he is.
Company?
He is, though.
No, he for sure is.
What I like about him is he knows what he's great at, and he goes and does it.
He
fucked
ran
up
at
one
Kevin
time
Holland.
with Gilbert Burns, and then he's not doing it again.
He's like Habib. It's like I do one thing, and I do it better than everybody else, and that's all I'm going to try to do. And like you said, he tried to strike with Gilbert Burns. Problem is, he tried to go on the ground with Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns is
I think he was just
next level.
Remember when Gilbert Burns tried to kick him when he was on the ground?
He kicked him in the chest.
Kick him as hard as he could in the fucking face.
No, in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he went and tried. I was like, is this guy fucking on drugs, bro?
No, Gilbert Burns is a dog.
I love Gilbert Burns. He was beating Usman until he got knocked out.
Yeah.
Like, he was in there.
He
Like,
looked great.
He was beating JDM until he got knocked out.
That Marias guy.
Fuck you for bringing that up. He wasn't beating JDM. He was literally like dog walking him.
And then he got kneed in the face.
Yeah, like that was so disappointing, man. I think I had money on that, and I was like, "This is."
Broken forearm.
I was like, "This is." I don't even like those bets where you're like, I didn't even have to fucking look at it. When I was watching, I was like, "Yeah, I fucking like." You get that feeling, and then he got knocked down. And I was like, "You fucking."
Correct me if I'm wrong here. That was UFC 299. Okay, JDM Gilbert. I had a bet on that. Got fucked. The co-main event was Kevin Holland versus MVP. For whatever reason, I put my money on Kevin Holland. Got fucked. Or no, that was the third fight. The co-main event was Benoit Saint Denis versus Dustin Poirier. I put all the money I have on a parlay between on Poirier and Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera in the main event. And thank fuck that covered it.
That was that card?
Yeah.
I don't think that was
UFC 299. Yep. It
was so
March
far away.
9th.
It was
March
Rain
9th.
Man. Saturday, March 9th, 299.
That was that long ago?
There's something going on in this. There's sometimes I can pull shit out of my brain where I think I'm on some sort of spectrum.
No, I was gonna say earlier. I think he's retarded.
Billy?
Yeah. He just looks at me.
I'll tell you how all those fights ended if you want.
That knee that Cheeto ate, I don't know how he survived that.
Unanimous decision for Sean. Unanimous decision for MVP. Knockout. Second round for Dustin. And JDM TKO in the third round.
Yeah.
What was the first fight?
Yeah, let's hear it, dipshit.
The first fight of that one was I got it. I know it too. The heavyweight. Heavyweight?
No.
That was the last fight on the prelims, the heavyweights.
How far do you have to scroll?
Curtis Blades won.
Yeah, Blades.
He finished I forget his names. He finished him in his first or second round.
Which one?
Second. What's his name?
Almeida.
Jailton Almeida. The first one was... This is wrong. This was UFC 300.
It's bantamweight.
Okay, then I'm not going to guess that. It's bantamweight? Come on, dude.
You know who it was.
It wasn't Aljo. He was 300. What?
Who are you forgetting about?
It wasn't Rob. Oh, it was Song Yadong versus Peter Yan. Yep, and Piotr Yan won by unanimous decision.
All right, well, that's the show.
Yeah.
You got anything else before we get out of here, Bill? Anything else? Dan? Bill? Ryan? Dan?
No, I'm glad we got to showcase everything we showcased here today. I'm glad with that. I think we got everything out the way that we wanted to. Let me make sure I haven't...
I'm dead tired.
Yeah.
I need to jump in the pool.
Right, I feel that.
Which part? You want to jump in the pool?
No.
You guys want some trivia?
Go for it.
Most takedowns in their career. Top 5.
Jim Miller.
No.
I like going with what you
Charles
did.
Oliveira.
No.
You just got to go heavy. Most takedowns?
Donald Cerrone.
Somebody just came in. Somebody just...
Habib.
No.
Marab.
Rob's won now with 92.
Yeah. Yeah.
For all you fucking cocksuckers who are going to say, he got Donald Cerrone. The guy's fought 87 times, so, it's a
Marvin
number.
Vettori. I'm just going based off one fight with Kevin Holland.
No. That's
He
fair.
landed 28 in that.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Okay. DC?
No.
John Jones.
It's going to be these fucking little
Number 3
weirdos.
is T-Bow. The guy that fought Habib that they said beat
Gleison
Habib.
Tebow.
Yeah. And then they
Wow.
need 2, 4, and 5.
I don't think we have any shot at getting this.
Yeah, this one's a tougher one. Most takedowns in the UFC's history. Top 5. Bilal Muhammad? No. Fuck no. Stupid guess.
That was a
These
stupid guess.
these guys are older guys.
Tyron Woodley.
A little bit older than Tyron. All
Randy
three of these
Couture.
guys. Younger than him, though.
Okay.
2,
Damian Maia.
Damian Mai's 9th. 2 GOATs.
Not Silva. GSP.
GSP 2nd with 90.
Demetrius Johnson.
Mighty Mouse is 5th with 74.
Mighty Mouse. What a fucking nickname that is.
Or is the other one a man or a woman?
The other one is a man. He's not a legend or anything. He just fights everybody. He just fought Hooper Kid, I think.
I have no idea.
Clay Guida.
Clay Guida, 78.
I hate that guy. Something about him, I don't like it. All right, anything else? Bill? Dan?
No, good to go, man.
All right, well, we will see you before... What card is this? 314? 13?
14.
We'll see you before UFC 315. Who's the main event for that one? Do we have any idea?
JDM and Bilal Muhammad.
All right, I'm not doing a show for that one. So we won't be seeing you. Is there a good fight on that card?
Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales.
No,
that is a great fight.
Go on.
Jose Aldo is fighting.
Gilbert Burns plus 300, man. That's just disappointing to see.
Great fucking card.
With some of the champions, man, it's like, God, Dana White's got to just be pissed.
Do you think he'd, like Bilal, he's like, I'm going to do a bad card to show that he doesn't move pay-per-view numbers, as opposed to like...
Let's see if you can sell it, because the rest of the card's not gonna.
As opposed to like a Conor card, he does that on purpose, but Conor's going to sell it.
Yeah.
And usually on a bad card, he spices it up with everything, but I think maybe he doesn't like Bilal so much that he's going to try to give him the least amount of pay-per-view points.
Yeah, I don't know.
June 7th, though, main and co-main events are Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley for the
fire,
and then Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison.
I think if Sean wins this fight, I'll be a little bit like, okay, you were hurt in this, but if he doesn't, not that I'm like whatever, but it's like, all right, dude, fucking figure out how to stop a takedown.
The same. I think
he's gonna win.
I kind of think he's gonna win too.
I do.
I think he's. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Talk about that when that time comes.
Masters start on Thursday. College basketball's over. MLB's in full swing.
Nuggets just fired their coach and GM.
Nuggets fired their coach and GM.
You're going to have to tune into the press conference to hear about all that.
Yeah. Bill, anything else? Bless you. Dan?
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time on In the Clinch.
He did not say thank you that time.
Gee, yeah. I don't think he did the first time.
He was busy burping and fucking talking.
Yeah, I was. I've been burping a lot. My stomach is wrecked. But, yeah, we'll see you next time. Everybody have a great rest of your evening. And be better tomorrow than you were today.